is July 7th, 2020. Time is just flying too quickly here, very quickly. And that's just the way it is. So I want to welcome everyone here. And this little mini course is Your Fearless Imagination. So this is going to be good and very fun, I hope. I don't know how fun comes into this, but it'll be fun. Good. In any case, firstly, Lynn, she's in Canada, and she'll be helping me with just about everything here, and posting for me some of the in the comments tab of some of the information. She's going to bow out in a couple minutes for about 5 minutes, and then she'll be back. I'll let everyone know. And let's see what else. She'll be posting about the events, information that I mentioned, and also other things that she thinks of. So let's give a shout out to Lynn. Yay!
Hi all. I will make sure that I include all that information in the email that goes out with the replay.
All right, good.
It's easier instead of trying to find that chat.
Yes. Hey, Diana, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Oh, well, thanks for inviting me.
All righty. All right. And normally they would be traveling around the country, but this way we get to reach people all over the world. And this is so much easier. And I get to save money on travel, so which is really nice. But we will be eventually traveling as soon as some of the stuff in some way begins to clear up a little bit. I'm restraining my thoughts on and the things that I say. So, and I'm totally non-political in my nature, so I don't even go there. That's not my job. My job is to relate what I can to help you to develop and grow in any way possible. And I'll relate it in various ways. Hey, Jean Bell is here. Oh my God, Jean Bell, thank you for being here. And I'll give you as much as I can in all different ways if you have questions, you know, at the end of this. And in any course, really, or mini class. So let's see. I also work with people in appointments for spiritual healing and aches and pains and chronic situations, discomforts, and sometimes disease and some emotional situations as well. And at times I'll be able to, in my reality, help you through seeing people that have influenced your life, whether they be past or in this life, or whether they're here. Sometimes I'll get little sights of them, but I never know who or how or what or why. It's what I refer to as the spontaneity of the spirit, that it happens, if it should happen. And sometimes it's loved ones, you know, so that's created the distresses of your life, whatever. And appointments are now via telephone or Zoom or FaceTime, whatever your preference. And there's also live workshop courses that are online, that are purchased, that some people can't make even, and so on the specific time and days, but they're still available with replay. So please do keep that in mind if you want to take that course. And Shane, hey, welcome, Shane. Oh, he's not, he can't hear me yet. And it's working, it's working. And this particular class is a part of a mini series of classes that are live and free to everyone. And I just like to give these things. Hi, Shane, welcome. I appreciate your being here. So there's also a live and free every other week healing circle that everyone has availability to join us with. And Lynn has the dates of all these things. So good to see you, Shane. Thanks for being here. And let's see, that's open to the public and online as well. And it'll be posted on YouTube, and it'll be posted on Facebook as well. Let's see, what else is, I think, oh, the gathering. Please, if anyone has any kind of questions on spirituality that they would like me to try to answer, and I love the challenge. Tomorrow we have the gathering every week, and that's available to everyone. So please do take advantage of that if you have the opportunity. And at first, I'll be answering questions from people that they've asked either on Facebook or sent directly to me through email. And Lynn will supply that information when she gets back. And then after I answer some questions, I'll work with one person at a time. And at the very end, there'll be a short meditation, a very short meditation. And it's very powerful. I believe they're wonderful myself, and they're life-changing if you really go into those and try to pursue the meditation. If you're a member of my Facebook page, great, on Spiritual Matters with Mark Ehrlichs. Excuse me, I take that back. If you're a member of the Spiritual Matters with Mark Ehrlichs, we're going to be eliminating that. And there's only going to be a personal page of Mark Ehrlichs, and the other page will be Spiritual Healing with Mark Ehrlichs. That's a private page, so anyone who comes in, put a little information, a request, and I'll immediately accept you. That's Spiritual Healing with Mark Ehrlichs. The Spiritual Matters with Mark Ehrlichs is going to go to the wayside. And so we're going to be closing that down in August, I believe, in less than a month. And so please join Spiritual Healing with Mark Ehrlichs. And on the website, markehrlichs.com, is the newsletter that I suggest that you sign up for, which will list all the events. We're going to be developing a blog that people can follow, and you'll have several video links that are available, just all kinds of neat things. And please understand that this mini course, they're just a taste of the courses that I'm going to be offering in the near future. I believe the next one is in a couple weeks, will be The Art of Healing. And I'll give another mini course on that. And then what other one did we come up with? Let me see here. Oh, Spirituality in Your Life. That'll be the one after that. And then we'll be coming into other courses that are just exciting, if not even more exciting, that you'll be able to have tools to go away with in your life and to learn how to develop. So some of the material that I'm expressing here and in any of the courses is from my previous writings, from a few other sources that left impressions in me, and other writings, and as I remember them, and my experiences. Mostly through my experiences I talk. And when I talk, I try to, at times, not all the time, but I try to talk in pictures, because that's how we communicate. That's how we get to perceive information from another person, is through pictures of what people are saying. That's how we identify. So in this course on your fearless imagination, I have to keep trying to remember that name for some reason or other. I like it. But I wanted to give you information and understanding and experiential work that you can have something to understand and take away with you and utilize in your life. Normally, imagination is beautiful because there's no rules to play by. No rules to play by at all. And it's more in the realm of dreaming whatever you choose. but the dreams are shared with us. In a true dream, it's something that's shared with us, of something within us that's available or to be worked with or whatever. They're given to us, literally. Excuse me. I go hoarse very easily, and I apologize for that. And so it's just as children, as we grow up, then everything begins to become realistic. And as we forget again and again to go inside more often, as we forget to find the world of potential possibilities and their manifestations, as we brought them back to life back then. And everything was wondrous back then. And so that is available to us still, but we kind of forget about that. We're into the world of realistic. Nowadays, we just, there's something what I refer to as common people. I don't mean common people in any derogatory way or manner. I'm just expressing and putting a term to it for people that heard of spirituality, so-called spirituality, or people that are into it to some degree, but then they forget it in their normal lives, and they're more concerned with all the outside forces and sources. That's their venue in life, and then through convenience, they'll identify with spirituality again. I refer to that as common people, and most of us are really trying to understand ourselves, are trying to get to that place that we get to know ourselves a little bit better and the creator that we're in and about truly, which is our original source. Nelson Mandela, he said, the power of imagination created the illusion that my vision went much further than the naked eye could actually see. Everyone uses their sight to varying degrees. But hey, Elaine, good to see you. Thanks for being here, and good to see your picture there, Jean. So everyone uses their sight, but few their inner sight, inner vision. We're actually the creators of our lives, and it's through the imagination it all comes together and forms. And as we forget how to utilize our world of imagination, it's really the same and no different in creating the many of the illnesses many people have today. And I truly believe with all my heart that through the lack of the use of imagination, an aspect of our life is taken from us. And it's really no different than wishful thinking in one moment or the next in conversations, or thoughts of limitations and fear. Wishful thinkings are not utilizing the imagination. I really believe within myself that we can image or we can fantasize and have wishful thinking. It's not the wishful thinking that we want to utilize, it's the imagination. And so basically our destructions are also our wishful thinkings in that sense. This type of creativity is always available to you. Many times we imagine and expect the worst. And so many times it occurs because we're expecting it or we're projecting it. And that's not necessarily being creative. We either have a creative or a destructive. God, in my perspective, in a non-religious term, God, the creative mind, the universal mind, the divinity, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't care. But it's not a discerner of persons. It's there for everyone and anyone, and we're a part of it naturally anyway. So we can participate in a destructive, and our prayer is going to get answered. We can participate in a constructive, and our prayer is going to get answered. Our destructions are also our wishful thinkings, and this type of creativity is always available to you. Many a time we imagine and expect the worst, and we're going to get it. And then we can say, oh, you know, every time I pray, this happens, so I'm never going to pray again. Or maybe it was the thoughts that you had behind the prayer or prior to the prayer with the intent that created the destructive understanding in our lives and the patterns in our lives of whatever we expect is what we're going to get. I say that it takes realizing that the universe, which is actually a living mind, is conspiring with the mind of the original right continent. It's conspiring with the right continent, the mind of it, the right state, the right city, the right town, the right neighborhood, or the right family or people, or the right circumstances, the right and even more perfect manifestation of our imagination, what we imagined it to be. Of every word, every thought, every action, what we experience in our imagination to image in action is exactly what our prayer is in every word, every thought, and every action of our life. So, Einstein, he wrote, let me see here, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Actually, we live on this globe that is impregnated into this greater mind. And this globe is alive by and in the mind. Try to comprehend what I'm talking about here. We live on a globe, and it's on this globe that we dwell within. It's not separate as an entity in itself. It's a part of a greater mind. And this globe is alive by and in that mind. Just like we're not so individualistic that we're separate. We still have the living life force within us, accessibility to information in the mind that wants to share with us. Imagine a mind that is so unfathomable and yet intelligent. And it's also at our fingertips, just waiting for our minds to witness and participate in. And we participate through the subconscious mind. Excuse me. We participate through the subconscious mind, and then determining upon how much it is, it's unlimited information that's given to the subconscious mind, but it's trickled down that we can identify with into the conscious mind. And then we get to be receptive and creative in just little pieces of what we perceived, but it's so perfect and there's so much information in what we did perceive. It's unknowable. There's just too much. And yet we can grasp pieces of it according to what we're participating in life with at any given moment. Just what we can grasp of all the information that's given to us. The ideas we have are actually what we perceive in our potentials. The ideas we have are just what we can perceive. We have an idea about something, but there's so much more information that's shared with us, but we only can perceive a piece, which we call a revelation or a huge amount of information, but we're only perceiving a piece of that idea. The clearer we become, the more is shared with us, and it just gladly shares. It's always in flow, always in motion of wanting to share. And that's from our perceptions of the imaginative mind. It's what we call magical, to be able to create things that are unique to us and then others. It's magical. It's what we refer to it as. And it happens out of thin air. And it's the things that we perceive in the thoughts for that moment, in those revelations that only last a moment. Again, the ideas we have are actually what we perceive in our potential with the imaginative mind. And those ideas, again, are aha moments or revelations. They're things that we didn't know about before, we were curious about, or we were just so desiring to want to know about something. It's as though the expressions and experiences of fearless soul that we get through the fearless soul that we get to express. And the fearless soul is stepping out into reminding us inside that we have the availability to access this mind that's totally creative as we choose, or destructive as we choose. But it comes from our ideas, our desire, and word from our mind and heart into actuality. And that's how we get to put our expressions on paper or on canvas. Several years ago, this is so cool, I just got reminded of this too. Several years ago, I had a fine art store in a real premier mall in Nashville, Tennessee. And it only carried the store, I only carried the works of artists that were well-known or not well-known. And it didn't matter if their work was unique. And, that I really got excited over it. There were works in paint and glass and wood and paper and metal, one-of-a-kind things from all over the United States and various countries in the world. One-of-a-kind pieces. Loved it. But one day it came to me that, I got all these great things in the store and they're beautiful and people are going crazy over them. And I was always ordering more stuff from the artists or whatever. And there were actual artists too in their capacities of various medias. Just one-of-a-kind pieces. They're just beautiful things. And one day it just hit me that I wanted to do something special. I wanted something special in that store, something that was so different. And so I just kept trying to imagine in my mind what it could be. And I really began at one point, I guess it was that day or the next day or day after, began to crave uh, and need to see something different and unique that I could do. So it started forming something that I could do and no one else had ever done before, anywhere in the world. And I had no talent in any of the medias whatsoever. I am not an artist. I don't even pick up, I can draw a stick figure. And so I wasn't trained in any form of art. And in that desire, though, in beginning to work with my imagination, I began to imagine that it had something to do with the circle, and I couldn't figure out. And I was indifferent, and I was impersonal, and I was using all the tools by being indifferent and impersonal, and by perceiving something that would come to me from within me instead of me thinking of it. Big difference. Though I had no idea what, but I knew it involved a circle. And as I kept desiring to see that something, it was round or a circle. That's all I knew, I thought. And a couple nights later, I think it was, I imagined it. I imaged it. It was shown to me from within myself because I activated my imagination. It was the idea that I was open to, is activating my imagination, being very impersonal, being very indifferent. Impersonal does not mean cold. It means getting all the clutter out of the way and perceiving what's shared with you, which is the activity of meditation. And as I kept desiring to see that something that was round, I got to image it. I saw it in its perfection. And it was what I called a butterfly orb. It had only fine wire and small colored cloth butterflies. But it was beautiful. And the wiring to make this butterfly orb was patterned. It was latticed design that was uniform and intricate and meaningful. And it was mesmerizing because I saw it floating. And it was maybe about that big. So that next morning that I had seen it from the night before, I ran out to a craft store and I found the butterflies and the wire. Exact, perfect. And I got back to the store and I tried to replicate it, what I had seen in the dream. It was literally impossible to do that. I even asked people to help me, and I gave them my idea, what I had seen. I'd shared every detail as much as I could. I had asked employees to help me. I even asked strangers to help me, people that were coming into the store all the time. I asked them to help me. No one was able to even come close to the replication of it. Even though I had seen it, I tried it, and I couldn't even get near it. Nothing was like the dream. So that night, that next night, after trying literally hundreds of times, because I was hell-bent on this, after trying hundreds of times with myself or other people, I asked again for help. And I woke up the next morning and I saw the next step as I was waking up for the creation of the form of it. Then in the morning, the next morning, the second step came of the form. And I asked for help again. I mean, my mind was just so focused on this. And then the third morning, I was shown how to do the completion of it. It had to be done in steps. Initially, and then I started working on it and I didn't share it with anyone because it was unique. And there was no one else in the world that knew how to do this. I just knew this. I even looked it up on the internet. No one knew how to do this. And initially, it took me 3.5, maybe 4 hours for a completion of one. And after maybe about 50 times of doing it and completing them, which was a lot of time, it got down to an average of 2 hours because I was very fluent in being able to work it. And every day as I made them, the store, I guess, sold between 10 to 20 of them every single day, between $65 to $125 each. No one had ever seen something like this. And people were coming in from other states, other countries into the store. They'd see them, they'd buy bunches of them, they'd order them online. It kept going and going and going. And after that, after I left Tennessee, or right before I left Tennessee, I taught one other person how to do this and how to make them. And to my understanding until today, this woman is the only one who has maintained orders. She's the only one who knows how to do it, and she's maintained orders, from my understanding, from all over the world, and was able, and is able, or at least was, and maybe is still able to support herself in making these and shipping them out. And I just literally gave it to her because she was in real dire straits. So I gladly shared it with her, and I just dropped it all, left it. It was given to me, I gave it away. And so you see, we don't ever have to be excited or enjoy the utilization. The availability of our imagination is what creates the excitement. The availability to develop and first ask, and then vision will be shared with us through the imagination. It will give us more of a complete picture. Then the excitement comes. The joy of that comes through the imagination process first, of what we're striving for, what we're trying to develop in our lives, what we're striving for and needing. The imagination comes in, and we're able to image in action what's being shared with us. We can imagine whatever we want in our lives. Being destructive, it's more difficult. Being constructive for your benefit or for the benefit of others is easier. Information comes to you in an easy way without resistance if we focus on something and get desirous over it. It's because in some sense we've lost the enthusiasm and we're chasing a dream that we won't have our answers to many things in our lives, and it's finding out within us, where have we lost our dream? And if that being true, if it should be true that we've lost our dream, what can I do about it? Then it comes upon us an enthusiasm to imagine things. We find ourselves in that world to varying degrees. So, we can imagine, and something in that is shared with us that we imagined. So, I want to thank everyone That's my part. I hope it made sense to people. And please, I really wish you would go over the audio again. You might find more in being said in it. Any questions I can quickly answer, and I thank everyone for being here, especially. Please, did anything make sense? Let me know. I'd appreciate that. And any questions?
I have a question, if I may.
Please, Caleb.
Everything made sense and beautiful story to listen to. Thank you for sharing it. I have dreams, and I've met people who have dreams that are, I'll say, big. And what I mean by big is that they defy, you used the word earlier, realistic. They defy realistic conventional
Realities of the world.
And in some cases, perhaps even what we call natural law. I've heard of people levitating. I've heard of people bending spoons, all that sort of thing. I haven't witnessed it firsthand. And I've wondered about myself and other people who have these huge reality-defying dreams, whether we can manifest them on some plane or whether instead it's our mission to somehow find contentment with living in the plane of reality that we're living in. And I
See,
wonder
all
whether
that stuff that you're talking about, it's non-relevant. It's non-relevant until you personally are in the non-judgmental, and I mean non-judgmental by saying wishful thinking or wanting or desiring. As we learn to practice developing in the sight and the sound of our self within, which is the connection that we're a part of. It's not a part of us. We're a part of it. As we become a little more conscious of that, just a little bit, then it starts sharing more with us. And whatever's in our venue for soul growth and development and evolution, that's going to be shared with us. And sometimes there are wondrous gifts. But what happens in the gifts that you were talking about? And I've seen them, I've experienced them. Well, a couple other people here have too. And they're available to us according to what we need. They don't really matter. What matters is our connection. Then there's something called spontaneity of the spirit that happens. It comes forth naturally. Otherwise, we're chasing a dream. And we're not living in ourself because we're chasing that dream. The idea is to get to know yourself, to love yourself, because there's always more to it. There's always more to the story of doing that, of being able to be in that realm within you. It's waiting for us to be shared with us. I hope that answers, you to some degree, Caleb.
Yeah, I think I need to chew on it, but thank you.
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Please, Mike, any questions? Do the replay, Mike, for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late. I got
that's
distracted.
Fine. The replay is for that. Don't worry about it.
I've always been hesitant to hope for anything because I thought it was pursuing some type of thing I wanted in the future. Until I heard, no, hope is a feeling that things could get better. And that's all it is. And that released me. Now I feel, okay, that's cool,
Yeah. I try to practice in my life, not hoping for anything or wishing for anything. I try to practice with all my heart. And I always know that I trust so much that divinity within that I imagine it taking care of me in my life. Even if it's scanty, it's still taking care of me. And I'm fine. I'm fine. You know?
It sounds like the divinity is well beyond my thought process. So I
All of
need to
ours.
put the thought process, put it to the side, put it in the corner, and just,
It doesn't matter. Otherwise, we're trying to play God by saying, okay, I want to do this, but why?
yeah, okay.
It's superfluous chatter in the mind. It has no power, force, and energy to be creative with. We're learning how to trust. That's all healing is, spiritual healing, trusting, which is knowing and accepting. And it's nothing more. Then we get to see the miracles flow, even when working with other people. Through our imagination, we're being creative. And we're allowing, as we're being creative, it's not what we're thinking, it's what's coming to us in thought through the subconscious mind to the conscious mind. And we perceive as much of that as we're capable coming from the subconscious mind into the consciousness. Jackie, any quick comments or questions, please? One last one. We're running late.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about things like this lately, but I noticed what I want to ask you about is, do you have something you want to say about the coronavirus and the spiritual message of it, the spiritual impact?
My perception is that we haven't seen the rest of the story. And so why judge it with condemnations or accolades or this or that or phrases or anything else, because then that's just for self-edification. And I know there's more coming in my perceptions personally, and but there's changes that are happening with it. And that's a part of the mind of mankind that we've developed into, which warrants this type of thing and the behaviors from it. So I don't participate in the destructive understandings in my life. I don't even understand disease when I'm working with someone, or injury when I'm working with someone. I just, I work with the potentials. And that's my place in my life. Otherwise, I can turn that other into a venue, and which is going to splinter me in what I'm doing in my life. And so what I do personally is whenever that thought should come to me, or the fear, or another conversation that I'm listening to, or something that I'm reading about the coronavirus, is I'll stop myself for a second. I've learned to stop myself for a moment, and I watch it from somewhere inside of me dissipating and evaporating out of me, the thought of that consciousness. And I know the thought carries physical manifestation eventually and potentially in the world for most things, not everything, most things. That's my personal perception of them. I hope that answers to some degree.
Thank you.
Not to be elusive in any way, I'm not. I don't want to be. Thank you, everyone, so much. We're running late. And it's not an hour class. So thank you. And please do check out the future things. Lynn's going to put them up, and on the sidebar, and also direct you to the website. And please make comment to this if you see it on YouTube or on Facebook. I'll be posting it. And thank you so much for being here, everyone. Blessings to you, everyone.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Deep gratitude.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank